Hello, FLOSSTUBE universe. It has been, I think, about 3 weeks since my last entry into YouTube, and I just thought that maybe it would be a good idea for me to just get something out before I go on this trip, which I am leaving to the US this Saturday, which is very exciting. I mean, I am very excited, though I haven't had that much time to feel the excitement because work has been, it's been quite the nutty time. I believe everyone, I have this like theory, not only do you work so hard to sort of get to a point, you work so hard to get to a point that you leave and everyone's gonna be okay. But that is not exactly what happened or what's happening to me at the moment. I feel like what's happening is it just seems to be getting worse and worse the closer to the time that I leave. And I wonder to myself, do I really... I'm not that important, so why is it all just hinging on the last week just before I have to go? Thank you so much, work, but I'm sure you guys are not all here to listen to my woes about work and how it's been treating me. I'm sure you're all here to actually just visit, stop on in to see how I'm going with my stitching. And I have to say, I have been quite the monogamous stitcher in the last month, and really just been focusing on catching up with this SAL that you're currently seeing. So I'm working on the Greenhouse of Oddities, which is a Lola Crow cross stitch, I believe. And no, I'm actually really enjoying working on this one. It's only because it's so different and it changes up. Like you can kind of finish one little. It's like a sampler, right? How you kind of get into the motifs and you finish one and you're like, oh, that's so nice, and then you move on to the next one. Yeah, I get the same feeling from this SAL. And it just feels nice. But yeah, it's a very pretty SAL. You can kind of see the ones that I have sort of done. I've done this sort of cactusy. I guess is it like a Joshua tree? I know she's listed it down on the pattern notes, but then I got the cute little owl. I mean, it's actually really, really gorgeous. Can you see it in the camera? Yeah, you can. So it's just this top bit here. It's so gorgeous, and it's got like even the sort of the back stitching just to kind of get the eyes and the beak. The colors that were chosen, because this is all the chosen DMC colors, are just perfect colors. Like they're picked so well. Anyway, it stands out so lovely. And then we've got the lady that's over here who's painting the butterfly, which you see here, and also the cactus with the fruit at the end, or the flower at the end. And that just reminded me, I used to have a cactus tree at my old place, and I used to collect the fruit from it because my mother loves to eat the cactus fruit, prickly pears, and we'd collect them. Every summer they fruited? I think they fruited in summer. Or near summer, or just on the edges of summer. But anyways, I had to collect it basically with like alfoil in my hand and tongs and a bucket nearby so that I can put it in there. And then I think my mother would use something to put on her hands and actually shave it off, like shave off all the thorns that are on the prickly pears. I did taste it. Sorry, I'm on a tangent. But anyway, I did taste the prickly pear, and the prickly pear was just a little too acidic for me. Why did I take this off the needle? Let's put you back. As you can see, I'm sort of focusing on the bottom part of this piece now, where it's just there's another little flower here, and I believe there's a well that comes into this place here. There's a moth. I think it's a moth. Still got 2 butterflies to do. Yeah, so prickly pear is not my type of fruit. Way too acidic for my stomach. But yeah. So going back, I'm trying not to talk about work. I don't know why I cut that thread. I just had to. I have this like rule that if I've got about 4 or 5 stitches away from where I last sort of end my thread on a row, or like, you know, just on a little path, that's okay. But if it's more than 3 or 4 4 or 5 stitches, I'll cut it. Well, I had to go here, and I cut it because I'm idiotic. Where do I go to next? To be honest, I thought it was quite brave to do this as a stitch with me, because it's not an easy pattern. Well, it's an easy pattern, but it's not like a, you know, it's not a monochrome sort of pattern where it's a bit easier to do. I'll just move on and work with one thread. So yeah, work's been very much on my mind the last 3 weeks. I'll let you all in on how I'm feeling though. So I kind of did this little diet thing. Okay, here we go, guys. We're going into the D&M corner of the Stitch With Me. Not only are you here to watch me fail miserably at how I'm stitching. No, I'm not failing. I'm doing okay. But I can give you a bit of that D&M warmth. Deep and meaningfuls. Well, I did the diet for my gut health, and it seemed to work. I did it for 2 weeks. But there's a downside to a very, very strict or restrictive diet, and that is that it's quite depressing. You don't know it, but like, you don't think it's going to affect you mentally, but you do get affected mentally by the food that you eat. It really does play such a huge role in your daily life. And I just found that, I remember I went out to this great restaurant called Three Blue Ducks for lunch with my team, and it just got me in I had to order separately. I don't know why I made this such a big deal about this, but I had to order this food separately from everyone else. And, you know, I was just being a little bit I called the waitress over and I just said, "I'm so sorry to do this to you. I can't eat garlic, onion, all that." It's like, why are you even out? But anyways, I said all these things and she was so lovely and helped me out. But I couldn't, because you're so different from everyone else and what they're eating, it just casts you out. And I just got into a funk, and I remember walking away. I left early from that lunch, and I remember walking away going, why do I feel depressed? Like, I don't care enough about this diet where it should affect me this much. But then I started thinking, well, you don't normally feel like this. Don't you ever find you catch yourself talking to yourself sometimes? But anyways, I spoke to myself as I was walking. I'm like, no, you don't really feel like this normally. So maybe something's up. And so that's where I was like, you know what? I think this diet is affecting my mental health. And I know I'm right, because then it just continued after that. So yeah, that was like the first week. That died down after the first week of that diet, and the second week I got a little bit more used to it. But then after that, I kind of started reintroducing all the foods back in, and that was a problem in itself. But anyways, I'm back to eating the way I normally have. I got to admit, I don't know if it was worth the diet, what I did. I don't think I'd do it again, but I have learned a feud. I have learned a few things from my experience, which is just some sort of food groups that I can stay away. So if there was anything that I took away from it, it's that. But to do that diet again, nah, no thank you. I'm not going to do it again. I'm good. Not unless I have the diabetes or anything like that would I go through a diet that strict. You know, you only do it if you have to, I guess. And I didn't have to. I was just doing it because I thought it was the right thing to do. Anyways, that's sort of where we're doing D&Ms. I'm much better now, guys. I am definitely on the other side of it. This self-inflicted mental health exercise of mine at the most peak time of my work career ever. But now that I'm on the other side of it, it's all looking a little bit more peachy, and I'm just getting my life a little bit more sorted. Although, I mean, it's all kind of like this vacation that I'm going to go on, obviously much needed. But when I get back, I've got some things to do. I've got things in the house that I want to fix, like little renovation jobs and all that kind of stuff that I want to do, maybe some DIY. I've got this courtyard in the back of my townhouse, and it is in dire need of some love. It's still, you know, got the old pavers with like little white pebbles in between the pavers. The only thing is that over time that ends up looking very dirty. And usually the trick that I use is get like chlorine and just bleach the hell out of it. But I don't want to do that every time. I'd like to come up with another solution. Have we done that? That color? I think I have finished that color. So let us mark this off. Am I in the way? I don't know if it's really that noticeable, but I did buy myself a camera. I'm so profesh. I've got a new camera now. This should look nice and dandy and pretty. And if it doesn't, oh well, I stuffed up then. And you'd think I'd know better working in the television industry, especially literally in the department where I'm supposed to make things look good. But yeah, it did set me back a little bit, but I thought, you know what, I'm settling into this into FLOSSTUBE and making content, and at my own pace too, guys. I hope you understand that. I'm so, like, again, I'm sure I've said it 1,000 times and you've heard it 1,000 times, but I am so thankful that, you know, I have everyone that is interested in watching, you know, Stitch with Me's, my FLOSSTUBEs, listening to what my opinions are of things. Like, I'm ever so thankful for that. So yes, and I'll continue for as long as I find it interesting and you find it interesting. Really, that is what it's all about. Using my Parco thread organizer. Oh, see that camera doing its focus, guys? Told you, profesh. Look at that. I don't know if I'm using it correctly, but I'm doing my best. Is that in focus again? Yeah. All right. Cool. And yeah, so it has been quite the whirlwind in the last month, and I'm keeping myself into my hobbies though. Like, I really have been stitching every day. There's been no stop to it. I'm getting about, you know, at minimum 150 stitches a day to 300. And I've always got, like, I've got this little niggly voice in my head that says, start something new. But I'm just really enjoying this SAL, this pattern. It's cathartic. I mean, it's more cathartic than starting something new. Sometimes does overwhelm me. I guess that's the difference between me and like monogamous and like I know that I'm more of a monogamous stitcher because I fall in love with what I'm doing and then I just kind of enter that world and I just want to see it done. I want to see it finished. And yeah, so new starts are a little harder for me. It's crazy how it's so driven by the personality. Um, but yeah, it's like a little fantasy world. But anyways, yeah, so I've been keeping my hobbies up. I have very much been doing that whole reading thing that I've been talking to everyone about. I've fallen into the trap of booktube now. So not only do I have FLOSSTUBE, but I am actually loving booktube. Just kind of following the main booktubers at the moment, like Jack can't remember his last name, but this good-looking lad from the UK, and Jack something I can't remember, but he's like one of the most popular booktube guys out there. And then there's a person called Willow Heath who I watch, and I like her book recommendations a lot. She's got some interesting like finds. But at the moment, I've finished one of my books, Death of a Bookseller. It's pretty funny because the person at Harry Hartog, one of the bookstores that I go to locally, they recommended that. I got to be honest, I didn't even know that bookseller was officially a job. I was just like, yeah, you sell books at a bookstore, but this is like a legit job. Someone that's like got taste and an understanding of books. I never even thought of it. Now that I'm entering this book world, I find that exciting. The book was great. I loved it. Oh, we're more than 4 stitches away. We've got to tie this off. Yeah, it was an exciting book. Death of a Bookseller. Just saying it again. So what it's about, it's actually quite. it's strange. I had reviews and all that say, oh, it's a gross and disgusting book, and I've read the whole thing, and I'm like, I don't really see why this is gross or disgusting, but it's basically about, it's in first person. Two main ladies, sorry, both booksellers, and one of them is sort of she's got a very massive addiction to true crime, and the other view that we read is a lady who is actually the victim. Her mother was the victim of a serial killer, and so she's living sort of with that, whatever, like kind of hurt and tragedy she went through. She's living with the aftermath of that. But this true crime addict is drawn to this lady. I believe her name is Laura, and then that's where the story sort of unfolds. This obsession that she has, and she's got like sick and twisted feelings. But I mean, it's not gross or disgusting. But I will say it was a bloody page turner. I finished that book within a week, and I don't read, guys. That's the thing. Like, that's what was so exciting about that. I read that book and I just lapped it up. It was delicious, delicious food for the. No, I was going to say for the soul, but no, it was more just entertaining. Let's be honest. It's not. I wasn't reading literature in the sense like I was going to gain anything from it. It was pure pop fiction, and I loved every minute of it. I do recommend that book. I thought it was a lot of fun. So if you are looking for an interesting sort of thriller for true crime twist, then definitely give. Sorry, I don't know where I'm going with that. I just sometimes words come out wrong. but now I've moved on. I'm back into audiobooks again too, so that's good. I listened to Jeanette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mum Died, which is actually a really pretty good autobiography, so I recommend. I don't know when this became a booktube, guys. I'm sorry. I know this is a floss tube, but welcome to my Stitch With Me, where tangents are necessary. But anyways, Jeanette McCurdy, guys. It was a lovely? No, I wouldn't say lovely. It was a harrowing autobiography about one's relationship with their mum and how that can be abusive. And I do rate that book too, or audiobook. If you can listen to it, give it a go, because Jeanette actually reads it and she does a great job at it. And now I'm listening to another book, Wow, I'm noticing that my book choices are quite morbid. The next one is actually about a person who died of cancer, and he wrote a novel or an autobiography just before he passed away. But guys, I'm reading this is so. I gotta say, it's just for the point of views. You read these stuff so you can put yourself in the shoes of these people to learn, right? And I gotta admit, I was interested to see, because he's a neurosurgeon, and he wrote an autobiography about before he, just how he died and what he felt and everything. And I just think that these are things that should be talked about. It shouldn't be morbid. What's the book called again? I'll let you guys know. Hold on. The book is called When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi. I haven't finished it yet. I've still got about an hour left of the audiobook, but I'm excited to just to kind of see where it goes. I mean, excited in a way that I'm just excited to learn, but obviously, he's passed away since the book came out. And then the one that I'm actually reading at the moment, physically, is Kazuo Ishiguro, Never Let Me Go, the Nobel Prize winner. That one is a great book, actually. It's about oh god, it's another morbid one. Guys, what the hell's wrong with me? Maybe can someone recommend me happy novels? I'm literally I think I'm just picking some of the most crazily depressing and most tragic stories. All right, okay, I'll tell you what this one's about. This one is about a group of friends, Tommy, Ruth, and Kathy, I believe, and they are basically they are I don't know if this is giving it away now. I'll try and be if you're going to read it, I'll try and be really, really just vague. They are put on this planet to serve other people other than themselves, and there's a tragedy behind that. It's very well written. It's I believe it won a Nobel Prize for literature back in the late 80s when it was released. So that was it's a very interesting book. I'm very kind of you kind of get into it after page 80 or something like that. You fall into the book and you're like, oh wow, this is quite gripping. But yeah, do I recommend it? I haven't finished it yet, but I mean, if it won a Nobel Prize, it's got to be good, right? And yeah, that's where my book journey has taken me. As far as my floss journey goes, I think I will probably end the video here. I just wanted to do a slight update with you all. Nice little quick stitch with me so that you guys can see where I'm at here, and kind of get a bit of an update of where everything's at with me before I go on this trip. I am excited to go on this trip. It's a long time. I'll be gone for 4 weeks. So yeah, I've got a massive stitch journey ahead of me, because there will be a lot of stitch shops that everyone has recommended. So yes, thank you. Big thumbs up. There we go. Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning into my Stitch With Me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys when I'm back from my journey. Okay, see ya, bye.